Variety is the spice of our station.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Yeah, these are my only intentions.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the show, Relaks, with none other than me, Nick, giving you guys company and entertained all the way until 6 p.m. That's right. We're talking about all things that is going on in the UK. And yeah, with that discussions, though, we are talking about all the things that is going on. And yeah, like how one of the issues that we were on and about is how the Wales right now, the situation in Wales is a little different. Yeah, they are delaying their easing of their lockdowns because in comparison to their counterparts, they didn't have to go and delay anything. They made their major reviews and they said, okay, nothing's going to be happening within the next couple of weeks. So what rules and what restrictions are changing in Wales? Well, back in a couple of days ago, they were talking about how the situation. Like I said, the situation isn't as great as they wanted it, and yeah, Wales infection rates has risen though from under 10 to 22 infections per day to 100,000 people since the start of the month, as the cases have risen so far. So Wales has reported, and they went on to report that there has been 100 new positive COVID-19 tests on a day on an average in the past 7 days, an upturn which should have been not have been expected rather with how the situation is going. And Wales has reported that 100,000 new positive tests a day on average in the past 7 days, an upturn which might be expected as things continue to open up, with the clusters in local areas driving the overall increases. So Mr. Drakeford will announce the next steps in a press conference on Friday, but sources say only minor changes are very likely. And the Welsh Conservative Senate leader, Andrew R.T. Davis, he went on to say this was not a surprise, particularly in the light of the concerns over the Delta variant. He did say that the Welsh government should consider easing some of the restrictions on weddings and funerals, and ongoing restrictions would mean businesses would require more financial support. And yeah, with that regards, like I said, they're talking about all these things that is going on in the UK, and there has been a lot of these issues and discussions, and how the lifting of the restrictions shouldn't even be considered, like how it should be pushed back for a month. In my personal opinion, even if you push it back to another 2 months, I mean, yes, it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, but we got to realize that, even if we push it back to another month, the situation, it'll pave the way for a better opening so we can open up the country and there's not going to be any more issues after that. I mean, this is something that, that is going on right now, and there has been a rollout. So the epidemic right now across England, though, has been growing. So this is what the studies are saying. And the COVID-19 epidemic, rather, more than a pandemic, it's an epidemic right now with the Delta variant, is growing. So scientists tracking it are saying it has become much more driven by the younger people who are not yet vaccinated. So the youth who's not gotten their vaccination, well, they are one of the main prime causes for concern, because look, like I said, a lot of these people are young children, young adults, who are getting exposed to all this, and it might not be a lot, but you have to realize that these viruses, they adapt, they can overcome this, and they can make, they can develop into a point where they can infect and make it even more serious. So this is just, the reason why we should get vaccinated. So the analysis from the React 1 study looked at the period of the 20th of May to the 7th of June. However, tentative signs in the latest data suggests growth may be beginning to slow down. So the rollout of the vaccines to the younger people is key to reducing this even further. Like I said, the young adults of today are the ones responsible. I mean, if we can be responsible and if we can get our vaccines, well, make sure you do go out there and get your vaccinations. So like I said, the rollout of this is key. The key is to get people, the young adults, getting them vaccinated to reduce any further of these spreads. So this is what the researchers from Imperial College of London had to say with regards to this. So since last year, the team has been inviting a representative sample of the population to take COVID swab tests, and the researchers have found, and they've discovered, well, get this, of the 108,900 people tested, well, 135 were positive, a rise from 0.1% to 0.5%. 15%. So that is a rise right there. So most cases were amongst people, were amongst, mostly 5 to 12 year olds and the 18 to 24 year olds. So the reproduction number, or the R number of people the average infected person would infect, was an estimated 1.44. So yeah, the analysis also suggests a strengthening link between cases and hospital admissions, which is also reflected in the government's daily coronavirus data. So the number of new infections is rising, with a 7-day average of 7,888 cases. So the UK recorded 9,055 cases on Wednesday, and the highest number since 9,985 were reported back on February the 25th. So in 25th, yeah, well, we had 9,000 plus cases. Now it's reduced to down by almost 1,000 cases. So we are seeing better numbers these past couple of weeks. Hopefully this will subside completely. It's still a big number, and the number of hospitalizations have also increased, though, with 1,177 patients in hospitals as of Monday. So but with the number of people getting infected, the daily death remains low, with a weekly average of 9 deaths within 28 days of a positive test. So Professor Paul Elliott, who directs the study, said we cannot take a lot of comfort. We can take actually a lot of comfort from the fact that when we look into the details, it does appear that there is very, very good protection in the older ages, where there is virtually everyone else double vaccinated. So yeah, the government has clearly announced that they want to vaccinate all adults in the period between now and the 19th of July. So that will make a very big difference and increase the total number and amount of population immunity. So he did went on to say that the study had found the Delta variant, first seen in India, has overtaken the Alpha, or also known as the Kent variant, in the UK as the dominant strain. And like I said, the dominant strain right now is this Delta variant, the Indian variant, and was responsible for an estimated of 90% of the infections. So England's chief medical officer, Professor Chris Whitty, said COVID-19 had not thrown its last surprise at us. So they have been warning about this, and he is anticipating cases rates will continue to rise over the next few weeks due to the Delta variant, and how the Delta variant being more significantly more transmissible than the Alpha variant. And he did say that the NHS COFED conference, he expected a further winter surge, and he said he thought new variants may well lead to booster jabs or revaccination being required over the next 2 to 3 years. So the picture presented by React is one from 10 days ago, but if we look at the daily figures published by the government, there are some encouraging signs, although they are a little bit tentative. So last week, the cases appeared to be doubling every 10 days, but this week that has slowed to something closer to 14 days. So it means that the epidemic is still growing, but it is the first sign of a flattening of cases. So this, of course, could be a false dawn, and the rise in infection has been largely driven by Northwest England, the top 20 local authority areas with the highest rates at all in that region. So infections could easily take off in other areas, though. There has been concern with regard to that, and they are saying, okay, listen, the area right now, the way the virus is spreading, it could take off in these particular areas. But if this slowing of growth holds, it is very possible, and it is very, indeed, it would be a very positive sign. So government scientists have feared that the rapid growth right up to the 19th of July, they're afraid that this might actually increase in amount. So that's something that they want to avoid. So this would drive up the hospital admissions, although because of the vaccines at a lower rate than in previous waves. So it's still early days, but the data now is a little bit more encouraging than it was previously. So like I said, the pandemic is going on, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson cited the Delta variant's rapid spread when he announced a 4-week delay to the lifting of the remaining COVID restrictions in England. So the measure will remain in place until the 19th of July, after MPs backed the government in a Commons vote by 489 to 60. So yeah, the outcome of the vote was initially wrongly announced, with the 461 reported as being in favor, according to Speaker Lindsay Hoyle. So the Labour Shadow's Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth blamed the government's hopeless failure to protect the UK border and stamp on the Delta variant for rising infections and the extensions of lockdown restrictions. So he went on to add, it is vital that vaccination is rolled out faster, but we urgently need other measures in place to break transmissions, such as decent sick pay and support for isolation. So these are just some of the things that he is bringing up. And he is talking about all these things. And he added that the government had accelerated its vaccination drive, setting a new target to vaccinate all over 18s with the first dose and 2/3 of the adult with the second dose by the same date. So hopefully this is something that they can, be true to. And this is something that we can expect that will happen. And everyone over the ages of 18 in England will be able to book their COVID-19 vaccine from Friday. So this is what Health Secretary Matt Hancock has announced at the NHS conference. And he said a first dose had now been given to 4 out of 5 adults. So as of Tuesday, more than 30 million people, that's right, 57.8%. I mean, revel in that, 57.8% of adults, that's right, have had their both vaccines. So this is just a good sign and a good news right there. I mean, there's something to look forward to, and I'm glad that had something, that is positive especially with this time in the gloom and doom of the situation. So the new figures published by the Office for National Statistics, or the ONS, on Thursday suggest people who had tested positive for COVID after being vaccinated are less likely to show symptoms and have less of the virus in their bodies. So the ONS analysis swabbed people at random. So what they did was they went not really door to door, but rather they asked a bunch of people to give them random swabs, and picked up a lot of these asymptomatic infections as well as the cases that show up in the daily case numbers. So it showed that especially the risks of getting infected was highest in the first 3 weeks after vaccination and fell after a second vaccination. So these are the numbers. I mean, these are proof that it shows, okay, listen, even if you've gotten the first vaccine, it's not a bad thing to get the second vaccine, because it will help your chances of not getting the coronavirus. So like I said, the rise in this, because of this, just under 40% of people who did get it infected after vaccines showed the symptoms. So this is just only the one dose of the vaccine. So looking at all this, there are also about 16,000 suspected cases of coronavirus reinfection detected in England out of nearly 4 million cases. So 16,000 cases have re-emerged and have reinfected people. So that is nearly 4 million. Still a small number, but it looks like a small number, but it's still 16,000. There's still a lot of people. And this is all according to the Public Health England data, although 53 have been confirmed as of yet. So there's been much, speculation, and they're talking about this. There's a lot of guesswork involved, whether, children are going to be included in the UK's vaccine program against the COVID-19. So after the regulators, the MHRA approved Pfizer's use in 12 to 15-year-olds recently. So, however, there has been a decision there's been a decision to talk about all the 16 to 12 to 17-year-old children against COVID is unlikely to be recommended by UK vaccine experts eminently. So this is, just something that they are considering for this matter, and for that fact, they're talking about all these things. And looking at this, a statement from the JCVI, the Committee of the UK's vaccine experts, which advises the government. So the JCVI, all they do is it's a joint committee of vaccines and immunizations. They go and they approach the government, and then they advise them on how to deal with this and how to handle the current situation. And they are expected in the coming days, before ministers make final decisions on whether that a lot of these teenagers will be included in the rollout. So in other, all these things, in other developments, you're looking at all these situations right now. There has been talks of the number of children in England entitled to free school meals have risen significantly during the pandemic, with an additional 420,000 becoming eligible since the first lockdown in March last year, taking the total up to 1.74 million. That's right. That's all that's going on right now across the UK. And with that regards, hey, you guys can always come this way and hit me up and let me know what your thoughts are on that particular matter. Hit me up. The numbers are 07852 473 473. That's right. And with that being said, we are going to be taking a real quick break, and we will be right back after this. Climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
You're talking about mental health. If you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation? especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again. It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It'll make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you'll interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah. At
least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
These are my only intentions.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Relax Radio, Relaks. That's right, with none other than me, Nick, keeping you guys company and talking about all things that is going on right now in the UK. We're talking about a lot of these things, and one of the most interesting things that is happening. Well, right now, the fusion plant backed by Jeff Bezos. In case you guys don't know who that is, he is the founder of Amazon. Well, it is to be built in the UK. That is a huge step for the UK as well. With that consideration, like I said, the situation and all of that. I mean, this is just also a big win because we have to realize that this is a big investment. He's coming into our country and trying to build a nuclear fusion place. So this is just going to be crazy. And yeah, I mean, you guys can always tell me what you think about it. It is 07852 473 That's right. This is Real Talk with me, Nick, keeping you guys company all the way until 6 p.m. Yeah, getting back to the topic though, Jeff Bezos is set to build a large-scale nuclear fusion demonstration plant in Oxfordshire. Yeah, that's right. That's where he's planning to do it. And Canada's General Fusion is one of the leading private firms aiming to turn the promise of fusion into a commercially viable energy source. So the new facility will be built at Culham, home to the UK's National Fusion Research Program, and it won't generate power, but will be 70% the size of a commercial reactor. So what it's going to do is it's not going to generate any power right now, anyways. So it's what it is. It's 70% even bigger than an ordinary reactor. I mean, those things are huge. Those things are massive. And to build something that is 70% even more bigger than that is just crazy. And yeah, the General Fusion will enter into a long-term commercial lease with the UK Atomic Energy Authority following the construction of the facility at the Culham campus. So while commercial details have not yet been disclosed, the development is said to cost around $400 million. That's right. So it aims to be operational by the time 2025 hit. So in case you guys are wondering what's the significance of 2025, well, that is the plan, to get the country and the world, running with the net zero emissions. That's what we want to do. And this is just the first step of it. So fusion is the process by which the sun essentially is, it generates a lot of these energies. So harnessing it on Earth is going to be a critical step towards this whole greener nuclear power. And that's very important because what we have to realize, the power of the sun, generating the power of the sun in a place like Earth, where we can harness that power, and the benefits could be monumentally great if you look at it. And it is different though from traditional nuclear approach by attempting to fuse atoms together rather than splitting them. So in case you guys are wondering what this whole thing fusion and fission is about, well, fission is where you break up the atoms, where you try to form energy with that, but that requires a huge amount of energy to do. And fusion does require the same thing, but then there is the possibility of increasing power. So that's just some of the things that they are planning to do. This is just crazy. So right now, fusion is what essentially fusion power does is it will promise a safer, carbon-free energy source that produces very little radioactive waste in comparison to a fission reactor, nuclear fission reactor. These are, when it comes to atomic bombs and all, they require these things. But this is going to be different. What we're going to do is we're going to fuse the atoms together and form another atom, and that is going to be an energy source. So hopefully that will get running. So getting atoms to fuse though at temperatures several times hotter than the surface of the sun has proven though very difficult, and it's been a very technological and financial challenge for a lot of these people. So a major international effort though to build a fusion reactor is underway in the south of France with the ITER project. But this $20 billion venture has been hampered by delays, as it isn't likely to be effective and working effectively by the time 2035 hits. So this is just, some of the things that is going on right now, and they're planning for these things. But, with the pandemic situation and global, the global economy is really at a tiptoes right now. It is really in a haphazard state. It doesn't seem very feasible until the next couple of years. Hopefully in the next couple of decades, this is something that will be up and running. But yeah, frustrated by the slow progress. A lot of these private companies also have come across the world, have been following their own approaches. And General Fusion's effort is seen as one of the most advanced. So this General Fusion, well, it is backed by Jeff Bezos for over a decade. So the company raised $100 million in its last row of funding and is preparing to go back to investors for more cash to show the firm's technology can be successfully scaled up. So the company uses an approach called magnetized target fusion. And in case you guys are not wondering, those are a lot of big words. Well, in this process, essentially, I'm going to try to make it simple for you. It is a superheated gas. There's a superheated gas. It's called plasma, and it consists of, a couple of hydrogens, and it's essentially these atoms will be injected into a cylinder, which is the wall of a big liquid metal. So what it does is this will, form a lot of these things. There's a lot of these pistons involved. I'm not going to bore you with the exact specifics of how the thing works, but what it is it's going to be this will hopefully be able to transfer and produce the energies that we require. So the company says that the advantage of that approach is, of these things, well, it exists in other industries as well already, but this is a very different approach. What they're trying to do is they're trying to find an alternative approach to all of this. So the campus, owned by the UK Atomic Energy Authority, or the UKAEA, is also the location of the major fusion research efforts, the Joint European Torus or JET, and the MAST upgrade. So these are just some of the places that they are doing this. So it just shows the decision to do all of these things. It is going to be a step forward. I mean, look, when we are thinking about getting to greener fuel consumption, well, how are we going to do this? We are going to have to cut down on emissions, and now to do that, well, the best way to do it is like this. This is one of the greatest solutions, nuclear energy. As long as the cons is there is radioactive waste, and we'll have to find ways to make sure that we get rid of it, and it's very difficult to get rid of radioactive waste. So this is one of the reasons why it's not super popular, although it is very, very viable. The energy that if you use this energy, it can produce. A lot of countries can get powered up sometimes by one reactor because of the energy, the amount of energy. And if we can find a way to store this energy, well, think of the benefits. I mean, that is, it's going to be crazy. It is going to be definitely out of this world. So yeah, I'm hopeful that this is something that will happen, and this definitely can happen. And especially if it's happening in the UK, well, all the more better. But hey, with that being said, you can always tell me what your thoughts are on this particular topic. Hit me up. The numbers are 0785-2473-473. That's right. Be a part of the show. Hit me up. And also don't forget, you can download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Carry us all day, every day. But with that being said, we're going to be taking a real quick break, and we will be right back after this.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, and mainly one, because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. Yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on air, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Yeah, these are my only intentions.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Relax Radio with me, Nick, keeping you guys company all the way until 6 p.m. That's right. We're talking about all things that is going on right now in the UK. There's a lot of these talks that is going on. And yeah, like I said, the situation looks like it's not getting any better. I mean, a lot of people it's been there's a lot of tension going on right now, especially with, people and being frustrated at home. And I know it can be overwhelming to think, hey, I'm stuck at home. It's been too long. I want to go and, I want to breathe. I want to see people again. And it does get frustrating at times. I mean, I know how it feels. Hell, I've been there. And yeah, we all know how it feels. But at the same time, we have to realize that the risks are also real. I mean, just a couple of hours of, just going and meeting your friends might not seem like a lot, but it's still going to endanger you and risk your other people and significant others. So we want to avoid that. I mean, this is just one of the things that you want to do. You want to avoid doing any of that. You want to avoid getting anybody sick as well on you because it was your fault. So just think of that the next time if you feel like going out and doing whatever you want to do. Well, make sure you stay indoors and think about, hey, what's going to happen if I do this? What's going to happen if I go out and I get for instance, what if you get the virus and you don't even realize it and someone at home gets it for you? I mean, this is just another reason why we should not be partying. We shouldn't be doing anything at the moment, and we should at least try our best to just chill out at home and make sure that we stay in as much as possible. So right now, we're going to be talking about all things that is going on. And one of the thing is, what's the deal? This deal right now, that's happening between the UK and the EU right now. What is the deal meaning for the NI language and culture? There's a talk about that particular matter. There's been talk about that. So the cultural package, including the Irish language laws, have been at the heart of the Stormont standoff and seemingly the row with the DUP. That's right. They're talking about all these things with relations to all of that. I mean, this is just, it is crazy. And right now, what was agreed on in language and culture in the new decade and the new approach, or the NDNA agreement? Well, some parts of the agreement have already quietly been enacted, like an Irish and Ulster Scots language translation service for public bodies. But there will also be simultaneous translations into Irish and Ulster Scots in the Assembly. But the bulk of the NDNA measures are still to come into force. So right now, they're going to be taking that decision hopefully in the coming future. And the Office of Identity and Cultural Expression, well, there is, though, no new standalone Irish language acts as the new legislation on language amends the existing Northern Ireland Northern Ireland Act, which is in 1998. So an Office of Identity and Cultural Expression, that's right, it's going to be set up by the Executive Office under the NDNA plans. So it will be a statutory body, and the First and a Deputy First Minister acting jointly will appoint its director. So right now they haven't come to a point with that regards, and in many ways they will be the kind of a cultural ombudsman. So this guiding public bodies and monitoring how they provide services to users of minority languages. So more vaguely though, they will also look at how cultural traditions and identities are being promoted and protected, as well as funding events, media, exhibitions, and education projects. There is no indication yet of how much money they will have to do that. So the Irish language and the Ulster Scots commissioners, well, they're talking about all these things, and there will be then two further commissioners, and an Irish language commissioner and a commissioner to enhance and develop the language, arts, and the literature associated with the Ulster Scots and the Ulster British tradition in the Northern Ireland. So they will also be part of the Office of Identity and Cultural Expressions, and will be appointed by the First and Deputy First Ministers. So interestingly though enough, when you think about it, they can be referred, and they can refer issues of a challenging nature to the director of the Office of Identity and Cultural Expression. So the NDNA does not define what those issues might be though. As of yet, they've not discussed about all these things. So the NDNA commits also to the repeal of an act dating back in 1737, which bans the use of Irish in courts. Well, that will enable Irish to be used in courts, births and deaths, and marriages to be registered in Irish. So the rule of the commissioner to enhance the Ulster Scot and the Ulster British tradition is a little different to their Irish language counterparts. So this, with that relation, they're trying to build something here, and you can see that the efforts are there and the intentions are pretty clear. And yeah, hopefully this is something that they can do and they will be able to draw upon. I mean, if a language can be officially recognized, it's something that needs to be taken into account with that regards. And yeah, looking at all these things, there has been also other talks as well, looking at the situation right now, and how there has been a lot of this inquiry into fake COVID tests as well in the Kumbh Mela. So, in case you guys are wondering, in India's Kumbh Mela, there's been also talks of fake COVID tests. So, I mean, look, in a situation like this, to be doing fake COVID tests is not the grandest of ideas. I mean, come on, guys. What are you guys thinking? I mean, when you look at that with in that particular regard, especially the police in northern India, though, the state of Uttarakhand, have registered a case against 3 private labs for filling fake COVID reports. So media reports say fake names, mobile numbers, and addresses were used in more than 100,000 tests during the Kumbh festival in April. So there was a big festival, and it just shows that people, just because they had these fake results, they went in and they took the risks. I mean, talk about irresponsible. We're trying to prevent we're trying to prevent the spreading of the virus, and the people can't even live one day without going out to their special events and all of these things. I mean, is it really necessary right now? I understand it's important, but is it necessary is the question. So the private labs were hired by the states to screen the visitors for COVID. So the Uttarakhand was criticized for holding the festival, which attracted millions of people during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, they tried to throw a big festival. Well, that didn't end up well. So you will be definitely hearing something in the news in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, with that regards. I hope not, but then, like I said, with that regards, with this, obviously there's going to be a massive spread of the virus. So there's going to be reports of all these things. So right now, this festival or the Kumbh Mela is the biggest Hindu festival. It draws people from all parts of India. So there has been reports of these fake COVID tests. So yeah, there's also emerged because of the northern state of Bihar, where some primary health centers have been accused of smudging the data a little bit, and trying to bend the rules a little bit, in other words. And that's not really the greatest of things that to be doing, especially right now with what is going on. Is that even the right thing to do? I mean, you guys tell me. Hit me up. The numbers 07852 473 473. That's right. We're going to be talking about all things going on right now in the UK and around the world as well. Even taking things also, like I said, looking at all the things right now related around the world. These are just some of the things that we will be talking about. And yeah, looking at all these things right now, there's been chip shortages addressed by the EU and the US Tech Alliance. Yeah, they're talking about all these things, and they're saying, okay, what is going on with this regard? I mean, what is happening? Why are we having shortages of chips? I mean, look, first of all, there's going to be issues with the shortage of chips because firstly, it's produced by China. So China, we are having roads with China with that regards. So the manufacturing more computer chips in Europe and US will be one of the key focuses of a new technology alliance between the two countries. So the Trade and Technology Council, or the TTC, and was unveiling the following talks between European Commissioner Margot Vestager and US President Joe Biden. So the group will also set to seek common standards for new technologies such as AI, or in other words, artificial intelligence. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, this is something, the future is here, folks. The future is knocking in our doorstep. When you look at it, we are going to, like I said, one of the things that really troubled me in the past couple of months is how deep fakes have been growing up, and that how, it is spreading and it's becoming more popular. And it's crazy because you expect someone to be there and they have and look and they do all the things that a normal person, the person you might know, might be doing with their quirks and all of the, characteristics of that particular individual. And they are able to simulate that is just crazy. So both sides are concerned right now. Like I said, the US and the EU are concerned by the rise of the China as a technological superpower. So yeah, right now the concern is, they're looking at the East and they're saying, okay, China looks like it's trouble. And a statement on the summit includes a pledge to build an EU-US partnership on the rebalancing of global supply chains in semiconductors. So the pandemic has led to, it's he's been leading the globe to a lot of these shortages when it comes to the chips, and exposed weaknesses in supply chains, causing shortages of consumer electronics such as gaming consoles, as well as slowing down productions of cars. So last month, the IBM president Jim Whitehurst said the shortage could last for another 2 years. So we're going to be having issues when it comes to production of chips. So the EU wants to increase its share of the global chip manufacturing market from 10% to 20%, and has promised $150 billion towards the effort. So meanwhile, the US has allocated $52 billion to domestic chip manufacturing. So the TTC will also include working groups on AI. That is the first and foremost priority: the Internet of Things, the climate, the green technology, information and communications technology security. And they're going to be cooperating, and they're going to be handling all these things. There's going to be a lot of these talks and discussions with that. So like I said, the G7 summit that did happen recently, there were productive talks with this particular regards. I mean, aside from the fact that, China right now looks like there is a calm before the storm kind of situation. You can see the storm brewing and how the situation, and I guess the rest of the world realize, okay, right now China looks like it's not going too well with their the BRI program as well, because they are using a lot of these poor countries to rattle them in debt, and that is something that they want to avoid. And they've been talking about this, and a lot of the Western powers as well have been discussing alternatives and ways to counter this. And the other thing is also NATO has also been talking about China. So you can see that the situation with China right now is it is not looking too great for them, because like I said, there has been chip shortages, and mostly got to do because of the issues with China and how China has been having this increasing tension between the world powers and China. So it just shows how things are going to play out. We don't really know what is going to happen, but if it's going to happen, it will definitely be happening in the next couple of years. So anyways, with that being said, though, we're going to be taking a real quick break and taking a look at your time right now. It is 4:50. Good evening.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much it's changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, I'd say to me, "You had one to forget." That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, that's the real fact of the matter. Yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it," and that was it. So I'd dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
climb Mount Everest. That is one of my that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do. Hopefully,
climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest. Maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It'll make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. You know, I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Well, you didn't do very well. And they get upset, and when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young, well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, my dad would say to me, you had one to forget. That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much. A lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
and climb Mount Everest. That is one of my that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do. Hopefully,
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
They're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that will improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What do you like? What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. It can open up new horizons. It will make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, socially, you will interact with more people, and you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite right.
I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, to one time, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
We should be able to cycle there.
Oh. Welcome back to the show. This is me, Nick, giving you guys company all the way until 6. This is Real Talk. And yeah, we are actually having a special guest back on board with us today. What's happening? Hey, I love that shirt.
Oh, you like it, do you?
Yes, I love it. It's blue, like mine.
How are you?
Little
You
duck.
okay?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
Hello, Nick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. You like my shirt, do you? I don't know
I
if
love it.
it's got the. If I stand up a bit, there you go.
Oh, whoa.
Radio.
That is a radio. The Relaks radio symbol. That is crazy.
Yeah. And I've got it all over my back as well.
Oh, well,
not
that is.
You might find that a bit rude.
But that's crazy. I mean, you got a blue shirt, you got whole merchandising scenario going down. That's crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went to town this week. I've been chasing. I've got 2 shirts.
All right.
Me, 2 shirts. I've got this sky blue one. I've also got it's like a lime green color.
All right. Oh,
But
wow.
It doesn't look too effective on the background. So
It doesn't at all. It
Oh.
perfectly blends into the background, in my opinion.
yeah, it does, yeah. But it's very bright. I wish I
Okay.
could scratch you, but it looked like I'm the Invisible Man if I put it on. But it, yeah, it's very, very light. Very bright. And if I wear it while I'm cycling, obviously I'll be quite easily seen. So
That
nice,
is,
bright,
I mean,
reflective.
that is very important. Yeah,
Oh,
especially
yes.
when it comes to cycling.
Absolutely so. Yeah.
So, how was your week so far? How's your weekend been? I didn't see you for a while.
The week, yeah. I'm sorry I missed your call earlier.
It's okay.
I was busy parading my new shirts in the office. So, and had Studio and Co taking pictures of them and TikToks and God knows what else. And Oh, we need to do a promo, Kevin. A promo? A promo. We need to do a promo. You riding your bike with a Relax Radio cycle shirt on. Oh, my microphone's just.
Oh,
I never touched it. How's that? Is that better? Can you hear me?
okay. Yeah, I can still hear you. Are you okay?
It's all right. There you go. I've got a new presence in life now. I'm a microphone holder. Apart from being a brilliant cyclist and
So what happened after that phone call, though? They asked you to merchandise?
yes, I was asking about the shirts and everything. Yeah, I had a bit of a laugh and that. Yeah, but that was good. That was good. They're very happy, so I'm happy. Everyone's happy, Nick. So
I mean,
happy.
that's very important. That is right.
Absolutely. Yeah, but my week started off. We had I'd done some work in my garden. It's beginning to look a bit like a jungle. I was
The Amazon jungle.
I'm fighting a tiger or something to jump out of all the overgrowth of God knows what, weeds and everything. But I had a young man come round to help me. Aaron, his name is. Only 18, and believe it or not, some years ago, I actually did the cycle safety course with him when he was in primary school. He's now 18, and he's built like a man. Oh, you should see it. Over 6 foot tall. He must be, I don't know, 48 chest. You know, like a man mountain now. Years ago, he was a little waif.
I mean, it does, it's very interesting that you said that. It shows that how much we touch a lot of people's lives, as we go along in the ways that the years of our life.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. He helped me do my, or he's helping me. He's coming around again this weekend to help me a bit more, tidying up my garden at home, doing a very good job. And I was a bit of a naughty boy afterwards.
What you do?
Aaron went home. I got myself up. A very hot, humid day, as it's been all week, as you will.
Right. Yeah, that is right.
So we had thunderstorms last night, but it's still quite humid, as you probably know as well. You're based a little bit further up north than I am, so you may not have had it quite as bad. But yeah,
I do.
East London had like heavy rain and that. But Saturday after my garden, cleaned myself up, went and had something to eat. Then I went into the pub. The first 8 months I've been in a pub.
How did it feel? What was the emotion like?
It was strange because, as I say, it's the first time in 8 months I've been into a pub, and I had to go in, and you can't go up to the bar, order your drink.
Okay.
You have to sit down, and the bar staff come up to you and ask you what you want, which wasn't too bad, It just, if anything, it took a bit longer to get a drink, that's all. Then they come over. What would you like, sir? Oh, I'll have a pint of whatever I had. And then they bring it over. Then they take the payment, of course. So I paid my card, and I ended up having only 2 pints. I thought that'll do. And I got up, and God, I started spinning. I thought, goodness, I don't want to make it happen.
You weren't hurt, were you?
Sorry?
Were you hurt? No, right?
Oh, no, I wasn't hurt. My head started spinning. I was like, if I was drunk, and I only had 2 pints.
I mean, look, it's been 8 months since you were last in a pub. So I think you deserve this. I mean, sometimes you need to celebrate these little wins.
Yeah, some people have said that. Some people have said that to me, but it was quite. As I was finishing off my second drink, it's upsetting because up in the corner they've got a TV, and obviously the European Football Championships big on TV at the moment.
Okay.
And there was a game that Denmark were playing.
All right.
Who was they playing? I think they was playing Finland. And I wasn't taking a great deal of notice of it because so much football on the TV the past week. You could watch a game, but then if you consistently watching game after game after game, it tends to get a bit tedious, or it does for me anyway.
I mean, yeah, it's like a cycle, you know, it's like a repetitive cycle, and sometimes it does get boring and tedious. That's what happens.
Yeah, it does. But anyway, this particular game, Nick,
All right.
there was a player, and he's gone towards his team, got a throw in, and he's just trotted over towards the guy who's taking the throw in. Nobody near him. He's just trotted over. All of a sudden, he fell down, flat on his face. And it turned out, I don't know if you heard this,
Okay.
he had a cardiac arrest
Oh no,
on the field.
but that's terrible.
And fair play to the referee. He see there was a problem straight away. He's blowing his whistle, frantically calling on like medics, you know. And they run on the pitch. The player's own teammates sort of made a wall around him, you know, surrounded him. But the cameras, you could still see what was going on. And it was quite horrifying. Nick. The poor guy was laying there. They was giving him
Warfarin? They were
you know,
giving him CPR.
yeah, you could see them like pumping their arms, you know, giving him. And then they putting the plates on his chest, making him, you know, jump. You know, what's it they call him?
Defibrillator.
That's it.
Defibrillator.
Yeah, I can't say that. I get my tongue stuck between my teeth when I'm trying to say that.
Got a little lisp right there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a defibrillator. Yeah, but yeah, and apparently afterwards they said he was dead for 5 minutes.
Oh no!
But I'm glad to say that he's on the mend now. I doubt if he'll play professional football again. You know, after that.
I
But
understand.
the man's alive. You know,
that's crazy though. They did CPR and then he went on to live. I mean, yeah, most people would just give up on that point, but then he lived, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, and it was, as I say, it was quite sad to watch. Quite upsetting. They had a minimal crowd there because now crowds are allowed back into the sporting venues. Yeah, you know, the events, and they had crowd there, and they're showing the camera is going from panning from this guy getting the CPR. Then they're showing people in the crowd, and all the crowd was in tears, all crying.
Oh no!
And then they went to the TV studio. The people in the TV studio were crying.
Wow.
You know, it was really upsetting. But
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but as I say, in the end, the guy's okay. He's on the mend. There's pictures of him on social media with his thumb up, you know, thumbs up and things like that. And he's thanking everyone for the support he's had and the medical attention. So, yeah,
I mean, the most important thing we have to think about, you know, it's the effectiveness of how fast you admit CPR. Because otherwise, if you were a little fraction too late, well, that would be the end.
That's right. Yeah, I've done it. I've never actually done that. You know, like administered CPR as such. I hope I never have to. You know, I've done like first aid course. It's part of my job. You have to be a first aider.
Yeah, of course, it's important. With the job that's the tendency to get injured. I mean, you kind of need to know about that.
That's right. Yeah, I think it works out about every 3 years you have to like retake the first aid course, and part of that is CPR, and that's doing it. And we're practicing on like dummies, you know, models.
Okay,
that's quite exhausting. You got to blow into the mouth, you know, like you got big rubber, like it's like a head and chest, and you got to blow into the mouth, and then you have to pump the heart, you know. And,
it does sound exhausting though when you think about it.
Oh, it is.
There's a lot of effort involved.
Yeah. Then after that, you do it for about 5 or so minutes, and then the tutor will say, "Right, sit down," because you're on your knees doing it on the floor, you know, on the rubber mannequins, if you like, and you're pumping away, then blowing, and pumping away, blowing, pumping away.
Yeah, it sounds very, very strenuous if you consider that. That is just, you know, a lot of work. I can totally understand how it feels.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, the tutor will say, "Right, time's up. and then everyone struggles to get off the floor because they're so exhausted. Everyone flakes out in a chair,
Okay.
Oh, take some water if you need it. Like that comes the water, and that. But yeah, it's quite exhausting. But anyway,
Yeah.
the main thing is the player is on the mend, so that's the thing.
All right.
Okay? Yeah,
Yeah, that is also very important. I mean, end of the day, there is, the story is, end of the day, the player is all right. That's what's important.
absolutely, Nick. Yeah, that's all right. But the disappointing thing, going away from the football, because you've got quite a few sporting events coming up now. Summer, you've got
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's totally right.
yeah, we've got quite a few sporting events coming up this month. You've got the Tour de France starting next week, so I'll have my
Okay.
eyes and ears on that, watching all the different stages from time to time.
Okay. And what's your take on that?
Well, again, like watching football match after football match, sometimes it could be tedious to watch at times when you've got to watching these cyclists, especially going
Yeah,
up and they're
it
struggling
gets exa-
on a
that
bike
is right.
going from side to side. And then they're forever, because they usually show it, the channel they usually show it on,
Yeah, I understand.
is forever breaking in commercial breaks. And I think they overdo it with the commercial breaks myself. But,
Yeah.
You've got the Tour de France, you've got Wimbledon
Okay.
coming up soon.
Oh, okay. What's that about?
The Wimbledon tennis, yeah.
Oh, the tennis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they've currently, I think the last one was played in, was the French Open, and that's usually played on clay courts.
Oh,
And
wow.
certain players that are very good on playing on clay courts,
Yeah.
and obviously Wimbledon is grass, so
Okay.
it's probably the Wimbledon possibly faster
Okay.
courts, But we've got that coming up, and now they're allowing spectators into the stadiums,
Okay.
albeit limited capacities,
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing that they wanted to do the Euro 2020 and that thing. It's same thing. They tried to limit it down.
That's right. Yeah, it's exactly what they've done. Like England, for example, England football.
Okay.
They played their first game last Sunday, and they won.
Okay.
Won
Oh, wow.
0-0. Yeah, but they played at Wembley, and I believe Wembley Stadium, the capacity there is 90,000.
Oh, wow. That is a lot. Yeah.
But they had 20,000 there, all due to cutbacks and everything.
So that's
and
like 70,000 people missing from a stadium. That's just, I mean, that's really unfortunate.
yes, very much so. But it's the way of the world now, Nick, isn't it? The way things are at the moment, everything's being cut back.
Yeah.
And now we've got the super government now with this Delta variant, and where the restrictions were supposed to finish Monday, just gone, wasn't it? For Monday, everything's finished.
That was the general plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's been moved to the 19th of July. So now everyone I know.
I mean, what's your take on that? Why do you think that happened? Why couldn't, what is your take on the delay of the lifting of the restrictions? What do you think about that?
Well, personally, Nick, I can see where they're coming from, actually, because if you look at the daily statistics, and every day the deaths seem to be going down. Obviously, when they have a week of 0 deaths, that'll be great. But there's always a few deaths every day. But they've gone at one point. There was roughly 1,000 a day, or if not more, in the UK. Now they're going down to some days single figures. As I say, 0 would be better.
Okay.
The infection rate is going up.
It is going up.
The infection rate is going up, which is quite worrying. I think the latest one I see yesterday, I think it was over 9,000 infections.
But then we also have to remember, even though the infection rates have been up at a late, it's still coming down. I feel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know where you're coming from there. Yeah, but the feeling is where I'm from. Uh, they've moved it to the 19th of July. So now
Oh
people
no.
are saying, oh, as we get close to the 19th of July, they'll
Okay.
put it further back and it'll be some date in August. And then when we get to August, it'll be some date in September.
But
You know?
but then you also have to remember this because it happens, right? Sometimes I would rather pick 1 year, 1 month, 2 month over the next year.
Absolutely.
I would rather that. I mean, that's the facts of the matter there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're quite right there. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we can sacrifice a month or two. It's not that bad. I mean, it is always bad. It's always gonna be bad because it's a pandemic. Nobody expected this. This was a surprise for us, and then boom, this happened. So
Yeah. Yeah. So if you just, as far as I'm concerned, play it by ear now and see how we get on. Look forward to the 19th of July. And let's hope. Touch wood. There's a bit of wood. Yeah, I'll touch a bit of wood. There you go. That'll do. Yeah. No, that was better. No echo on that one. Only in my head.
yeah, knock on wood.
But yeah, it's basically roll on the 19th of July and see how we stand then. You know, Nick? That's what I feel.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, as well, it's 4 weeks, but it's unavoidable. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I believe the idea behind that is it gives more time for more people to get vaccinated. So
That is right. I mean, analysts show they still need a lot of this delay. What it's gonna do is, but it's gonna benefit us in so many ways. Like that's what the analysts are saying. It's not only about the giving amount of people. For the number of people out there vaccinated. What they're saying is, okay, we have time to analyze this data so we can make sure that we can make more efficient vaccines from. Is what they're trying to say.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and obviously they're saying that this Delta variant is spreading more through like the younger generation, the young people spreading it, rather than us old, well, not you, but me, us older people who have had like the 2 vaccinations.
Okay.
So yeah, as I say, I'll play it by ear and see how we get on.
Hopefully, yeah. Let's see how it goes. That's all we can do. No, that's all we can ever do is just hope.
Yeah, that's right. And look after ourselves, obviously.
That is a no-brainer. I mean, come on, Kevin.
Get out in the fresh air. Yeah, do some exercise. Get that vitamin D. Take
Vitamin.
if you need them. And look after yourself.
That is true.
And don't spend too much time in the pub.
That is a definitely true thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I was going to say, just glancing down at my notes here.
All right.
Yeah. Got my new super duper Relaks radio cycle shirt on.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm still admiring it.
Yeah. And I was saying in the office earlier to the staff in there about charity rides. There's lots of charity things going on at the moment.
Okay.
And a colleague of mine, good friend as well, Jane, her name is,
All right.
and she asked for sponsorship, like if we could sponsor her. And she's doing a cycle ride for a bone cancer charity.
Oh, that's really touching.
So I sponsored her. And she gave me her shirt. She doesn't wear these sort of shirts that I wear. She prefers to wear, because the material they're made out of, says they make it hot and everything. She prefers like wearing like a cotton t-shirt. So she's going to get a cotton t-shirt. She gave me her shirt. So I've got another one to add to my collection. I think I've got one for every day of the month now, if not more.
Yeah, and different colors too, to boot. Like you got pink, you got yellow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, every colour under the sun I've got. Yeah. I've got every colour, I've got loads, mate. I've got loads. I've got loads of them. And I was saying about the charities though.
Yeah, you were saying about the charities.
Tell you a story about a charity. I did it a few years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
a cycle ride, London to Brighton.
Okay.
Many listeners may have heard of that. There seems to be a lot of people's ambition. Oh, I'm going to ride London to Brighton. Blah blah blah. Well, I did it this time. I've done it with a small group of people, and we
Okay.
cycled through the night. I think I might have mentioned this before. Cycled through the night. When I finished, I'd made a few £100 for charity.
Okay. Wow.
Sent it off. Some of it was like through the internet.
Okay.
We made a donation through the internet. Others paid me by cash. So I rounded up all the money,
All right.
net donations, all the cash, and I sent it off. And then a while later, I got a letter. It was a lovely letter from the charity.
Okay. Oh wow.
And brought a lump to my throat. It was like, thank you ever so much, Kevin, for your efforts and everything.
Okay.
And I thought, that's really nice, you know.
It's a sweet gesture when you look at it from that point of view. It is a sweet gesture.
Yeah, it was very much so. And then that was it. I'd done my bit. And then it was one Saturday,
Okay.
I was sitting at home, and the landline rang. Now, it's rare these days for anyone to use a landline, as far as I know. Everyone uses mobile phones now. Everyone.
Yeah. I mean, technology does take a grip on, society. That's how it changes. Time changes.
Yeah. Anyway, the landline rings. I'll pick up. Hello. Good afternoon. Could I speak to Kevin? Yes, you're speaking to him.
Okay.
This is John. I can't remember the guy's name. Just call him John. This is John from charity. Oh, hello, John. Yes, thank you ever so much for your efforts.
Okay.
So I said, that's quite all right. No problem. John, glad to help. You received all the money. Oh, yes, Kevin. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for all your effort. And then he paused, and then he said, do you realise, Kevin, for £10 a month, you could, and I said, hold it there. For £10 a month, I could what?
It sounds like yeah.
So I think you know where I'm coming from, Nick.
Yeah.
This guy in this office was asking me for more money.
He was haggling you in a way.
Yeah. And I said, no, you hold it right there, pal. I said, I trained to do that ride. I didn't just sit on my butt and then on the day, or in my case, on the night, turn up and do it and now kill myself. I said, I spent months training for that, getting up early in the morning when it was dark. Because I was riding in the dark. So I wanted to acclimatise myself to riding in the dark. Or I'd go out late in the evening, again, when it's dark. And when you're
call you the night cycler.
Yeah. So when you're training in the summer, you can't go out till half 10 of an evening, can you? Because you can't. It get dark.
I know. That's true. Yeah, that's exactly true.
So and I said, so I'd done all this training, and my colleagues did, and they are asking me for more money. I said, so where I want to know now, John, where is this money going?
Where indeed is the question.
Where's this money that me and my colleagues have raised, and lots of colleagues who've raised money for all different charities, be it cycling, walking, running, swimming. Some of them even swim, and they do it to raise money for these charities. What I would like to know how much of that money is actually going to the charity and how much of it is paying salary.
That is also because it's unfair. You're taking people's charities and turning it into, their charities into salaries. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I'm all for helping charities, etc. But I would like to know how much of that hard-earned money. And don't forget, some of these people who have sponsored me or other colleagues, friends, whatever.
Okay.
Some of these people, they might be hard up themselves. Some of them who sponsored me pensioners. Some of my sister sponsored me. She's a pensioner. Work colleagues or former work colleagues when I worked in industry, they're pensioners.
Oh wow.
And they sponsored me because they're friends of mine or relatives of mine, and they sponsored me to raise money for the charity to help people with that cancer or that liver condition or anything, bone cancer. They sponsored me to raise money for the charity, not to pay someone's salary.
That is true.
Bit of a gripe there, Nick. Bit of a gripe for me there.
I mean, that is also of concern. I mean, where do you draw the line? That's the question.
Yeah. I wish I knew the answer to that. Where do you draw the line, Nick? If you got someone, who phones up, for £10 a month, or you could do more.
I know. That's that. Like I said, that's a very unfortunate situation. When especially when you look at situations like now, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate, and I don't. It just annoys me. It annoys me for all people's effort. Not only me doing the cycling or swimming or running or whatever, for the people who put their hand in their pocket and give money.
Yeah.
Am I doing? Am I raising it for the people who need it, or am I doing it
to pay some dude's pocket?
To put in some dude's pocket, exactly.
That is the short and sweet of it.
So that's a gripe from Kevin. Okay.
I'll be expecting more of those, definitely, as we go along.
Yeah. Oh, gripes, me, never, not much. But yeah, a bit of let's talk about charity.
Okay.
A little brief Kevin history lesson for you.
All right.
So I might have to browse down in my notes to get the dates right. But where I come from, Stepney in East London, I was born and bred. Quite near, there was a turning off the road I lived in. Used to live in a road of Cable Street, it's called. Some people may have heard of Cable Street. There was in the 1930s, it's world famous for a big demonstration now with the black shirts. A guy named Mosley had a big demonstration, and it led from the city, and he went into Cable Street, and there was a big confrontation.
All right.
They called it the Battle of Cable Street. Yes,
sounds a little mythical right there.
Yeah, and there was a big rumpus there. I think it was about 1936, I think. But Cable Street, yeah, and that's what it's well famous for. Right?
That sounds pretty old though.
Yeah, but there was that. But off of Cable Street, a place I believe it's called Stepney Causeway.
Okay.
There was a guy. His name was Dr. I think it was John Bernardo, and he.
Okay.
At the time, this was about 1860s, 1870s, I believe.
Okay.
And at the time, there was an outbreak of cholera. All right. Now, I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it. I don't know if that was in just the area, the local area, Stepney, or if it was countrywide or what. But there was an outbreak of cholera. And as a result of that, lots of children left homeless, destitute, no parents.
All right.
Cholera.
All right.
And these children who were dying on the streets.
Oh, no.
And this Dr. Bernardo ended up where he found a child dead on a doorstep. So he opened up a home in Stepney Causeway. And it was called Dr. Bernardo's home. And he used to take in children, mainly boys, I believe.
Okay.
Mainly boys. And they had somewhere to live, somewhere to stay. They got meals, and that was now it's a worldwide charity, but it's not called Dr. Bernardo. It's just, if I'm allowed to say, it's just called Bernardo's, and it's worldwide. You know, I don't know if the original building in Stepney Causeway is still there. It's probably been knocked down and probably built yuppie flats there now. They seem to be doing in Tower Hamlets at the moment, and knocking everything down and building yuppie flats. Or where I live in Barking, they're knocking down everywhere and they're building these affordable. They call it affordable housing. Affordable housing. That's just it.
And it's just one room. I mean, look, you're paying the equivalent of the whole house value into that one room. What's the point?
That's right. Yeah. Affordable housing. Yeah, I've always wanted to live in a shed. You know, the tiny little houses. They're knocking down all the decent homes and building all these weird, like build them in 5 minute contraptions.
The whole point of flats is, to get more people to invest in you. So it's a lifetime investment for them. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah. But they're going about it beyond me, and they've got these affordable housing projects everywhere. They look like you go around on my bike, Nick. I cycle around, and the landscape is forever changing. You know, 1 minute there's these homes, then next minute they're empty. The next minute all the windows are boarded up, and then a few weeks later they're all demolished. And then give it a little bit of time, give it a few more weeks, and then all of a sudden there's all these buildings being erected, and they look like Lego bricks because they're all different colours. You know?
Yeah.
You're looking puzzled there, but believe me, if you come,
I'm still wondering. I mean, how is that even possible? I'm like, And
they've got all these, like, I don't know if it's clad in or what. It's all like all these bright colours, and I thought, do I want to live in a Lego brick? You know, and it's, you've got all these different areas. You know, it's quite. I don't know. It's how it goes. You know, but going back.
I guess that's how it goes.
I was just consulting my notes again. Yeah, I was just looking at Bernardo's, the actual charity from Stepney Causeway. It's actually now based in Barkingside, which is like Essex, in Essex, if you didn't know.
Okay,
Barkingside, that's like where the head office is,
All right.
And I used to know a guy, sadly passed away some years ago, and he was a Bernardo's boy.
Oh, okay.
What he did, he done well for himself in life. He done well.
Okay. What did he do?
Actually, what he was, he had a ticket. He started up a ticketing agency. And what I mean by a ticketing agency, he'd have tickets for different events, be it theatre shows, music, getting my words mixed up here. Theatre, opera, music events, and
music events.
And basically, it was a bit of I used to call him the ticket tout.
Wow.
And he always give money to Bernardo's Christmas.
Okay.
He always look after them. He always give them a nice, healthy donation at Christmas time. So he remembered his roots, which I thought was great. He remembered his roots, and he'd give them something every Christmas.
To think about.
A thank you donation,
Yeah, that's very important.
I remember one occasion he asked me, because I worked in print at the time,
okay.
And he said to me, Kevin, could you do me some business cards?
Okay, and then what?
And so I did business cards, and I said, what do you want on them? What do you want on the business cards? I said, I want theatre, film, opera, music event, sport, and tennis. So I said, tennis.
Okay.
Tennis would come under sport.
It should.
He said, yes, it should. Quite rightly so. He said, but you'll be amazed how much money I can make out of selling tickets of tennis events.
A lot of money can be made from that.
So
I can imagine you can buy one of these flats.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he did actually. I think he bought a block of them through selling tickets for tennis. But he said, like Wimbledon, for example,
Okay.
it's very hard to get hold of. And if he got hold of a batch of tickets from Wimbledon, for example, he could name his own price.
That's true.
His own price. So if he paid, I don't know, say he paid £20 for a ticket, he could sell it to the highest bidder, and he could make unknown profit on it,
That is true.
selling it black market, if you like, or touting,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember one occasion he got tickets for Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, okay. Have you read the story though? Phantom of the Opera.
I haven't. No, I've never
It's
seen
really
it.
you better read it. It's really interesting story.
It's a good read, yeah.
It is a really good read. I mean, the Phantom of the Opera he essentially lived under the theater.
Oh right, I
Yeah,
didn't.
there's a big. You should read it. You should read the book. The book is an amazing story.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
I'll do that then, Nick.
Yeah.
That's one to look for. Yeah, see if I can get that Phantom of the Opera. But this guy I'm talking about,
Okay.
he got tickets for the last night, Phantom of the Opera, when Michael Crawford
Yeah, I think it was Michael Crawford.
was the Phantom of the Opera, and it was
Yeah.
his last night. It was a Saturday evening. It was a Saturday evening, and he got
Okay.
tickets. And I don't know how much money he made on these tickets, but he looked the following day on the Sunday. He looked after us.
Okay.
Went in the local. This was years ago. Went
All
into
right. And then what?
the pub. You know, went into the local pub. No one bought a drink.
Oh no! Why is that?
He bought a lot. As we
Ah,
bars were on him. No one bought a drink for the whole. It was like in those days, the bar would be open for 2 hours on a Sunday. Now they're open all day. But on a Sunday, they'd open midday till 2 o'clock, and then they'd open again in the evening about 6, 7 o'clock in the evening.
I mean, end of the day, you know, now more wives are going to police and complaining about that because now you can get drinks every single day. Like, what's the point? When are our husbands home?
Yeah, well, in those days when they used to open, and it used to be a man's. He always went out Sunday lunchtime, put on his suit and tie.
Okay.
He'd go down a pub, and I don't know how they done it. They had 2 hours, and in 2 hours, they'd pour so much drink down their neck,
Okay.
you know. Then they'd go home, sleep it off, have their dinner, sleep it off, and then go out in the evening and just have a relaxing drink instead of piling pint after pint down their neck, you know. But this particular Sunday, this guy,
Okay.
ticket man,
Okay.
he was in the pub at midday, and everyone piled in there for have their beer and everything, and he never bought a drink. No one bought a drink. He bought
Okay.
everyone. Yeah. So I don't know how much money he made out of these tickets. Incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. You know. But he looked after me, I must admit, because I'd done his printing for him, his tickets.
All right.
And he said, "How much do you want?"
Okay.
I said, No, it's fine. No, cost me nothing. I've done them in my own time, printed them. He was
Yeah,
happy.
that's definitely that's right.
But he said, "I must give you something." I said, "I'll just buy me a beer." Fine. But no, I see him a few days later and he gave me 2 tickets for Starlight Express. You ever seen that or heard of that, Nick? Starlight
No,
Express?
I've not heard. This is first.
Yeah.
Actually.
And what it is, really good show. And what they do, everyone, they go around on roller skates.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic show. And the seats we had, because they go I can't remember the name of the theatre where they was, but
Okay.
they're not only all up on the stage, they go all around the theatre,
Okay.
straight around the theatre and everything, up and
Okay.
slopes and God knows what. And the seats I had are perfect. There was all people whizzing round behind me from roller skates in front of me, up the sides, across the stage, jumping over each other, somersaults. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So I printed the guy about 100 cards. Can't be bad. Can't be bad. That was a big plus, that was.
Yeah, it can't be that bad.
That was a big plus, you know?
That is right.
But anyway, I'll have to look into that. You say Phantom of the Opera. You say that's a good read.
It is a really good read. It's a good story. I mean, the story for me is it's a very touching story. The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like there are books it's like if you watched I Am Legend, it's the same thing. It's like the movie wasn't that great, but then when I read the book, it just blew my mind.
yeah. Right. Okay, I'll look into that then, Nick. And talking of movies, I watched an old favourite of mine Sunday evening.
All
You
right,
must have
well,
seen Full Monty.
Full Monty. All right, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that so many times, but every time it makes me laugh. And it
It's
was on the TV
hilarious.
Sunday evening. Oh, one of the funniest films I've ever seen. Really funny. You know?
I remember when I watched that first movie the first time. The innuendo sometimes skips you. You don't really register it, and then afterwards, when you rewatch it again, you're like, "Oh, okay, that's what it means."
Then you get it. Yeah. Yeah. So funny. If I went home now, if it was on, I'd watch it again. And I only see it Sunday. And every time I watch it, I pick up something else, if you know what I mean.
Oh, what is it?
Like, I remember a certain thing that happened and made me laugh, but then I'll watch it again and there'll be something else that, again, will make me laugh, And like there's the scene where they're in the job centre and they're signing,
Okay,
and then
all right.
the song comes on, and then all of a sudden you see them and they all start moving in sync with the music, and things like
It
that.
shows the influences of a show, especially. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, really funny. And the bit that I particularly like is where they're rehearsing in the derelict factory.
Okay,
And they've got to take their kit off, and they've got a small audience of women
all right.
watching, and they're taking their kit off. Anyway, the police are walking past, and they hear they can hear the music coming from the factory. So they investigate, and they see
Okay,
the guys, and they're there, and it's all they got on is their pants, And the women are all laughing. So the guys make a run for it.
okay,
Most of them get caught and they get taken
Oh.
away to the police station. But
okay.
there's a couple, they run off. He's all they got on is their pants, and they climb over a couple of garden walls and end up getting through someone's window.
Oh no.
And they climb. I think it's one of their. I think it was the guy. I think it's his mother's house. He climbs
Okay,
up the wall,
okay,
gets through the window, and as
okay.
it gets through the window, he knocks the dressing table over, and I think that's quite funny. He kicks it over. He crash, bang, wallop. Yeah,
Oh,
silly things like that. They make me laugh. It's madness. But I quite enjoyed that, and it just so happened it coincided with probably the best game of the Euro Championship so far. But I missed after football match to watch the Full Monty. So there you go.
I mean, yeah, the Full Monty. I mean, over a football match, it's reasonable.
Yeah. I think it depends who's playing, but who was it? It was Ukraine, and
Okay.
I can't remember who else. But it ended up 3-2 game,
Oh no.
and it was end to end. End to end of football. Some good
Okay.
goals. The West Ham player scored. He scored a great goal, so that was good. I like bigging up West Ham, as you know. And
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that.
yeah, you know that. So does everyone else there. They hear it every week. But yeah, he's a West Ham player scored, which was good. But yeah, I watched the Full Monty. And another film I watched on Saturday evening. Have you ever seen Buster?
Buster. What's the story about? I can't recall.
Yeah, it's the star of it is Phil Collins.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil Collins is Buster. Yeah, and what it's based on something that happened in 1963, I believe it was, and they called it the Great Train Robbery.
Okay.
And what it was, these villains as such. They got together and
All
they
right.
stopped a mail train, and on board was a load of used money, like
Oh no.
notes, you know,
Yeah, I understand.
£5 notes, etc. And I think
Okay.
the idea was they was taking them somewhere and they was going to be incinerated. You know, they're going to be burnt up. This money, like wasn't going to be used anymore. But they got on the train,
Okay.
raided the train, emptied it of
What
all these big sacks full of money, and run off with it. And they eventually they got caught.
what they got? Okay, they were caught in the
They
end.
Buster ended up doing time in prison. And so,
I should check this out. I should check this movie out.
yeah, it's a true story. It's true. It happened. I think it was about 1963. It was a bank holiday weekend, and they stopped the train. The driver of the train, because they got
Okay.
somebody to apparently they had to stop the train, so they messed with the signals.
Okay.
So they changed the green signal to a red signal.
So red
Train
signal. Yeah.
stopped. And then the idea was they got on the train,
Okay.
going to get their recruited train driver to drive
All
down
right.
the track to this bridge where they had a fleet of lorries waiting to load all the sacks of money onto. But the train driver they recruited couldn't drive the train. It was a different model to what he was used to driving. So they had to use the actual train driver to
Okay.
drive the train.
Whoa, that
You know, he'd done it under sufferance, and I think he got hit. Someone hit him, and there was supposed to be no violence. No one got hurt. But someone, obviously, in the heat of the moment, lost his cool, hit the driver.
that happens. I mean, with the mob mentality, sometimes when you're in a mob like that, it does happen.
Yeah, so he hit the driver. Anyway, he drove the train to this bridge. They unloaded it, and they had a hideaway.
Okay.
And bit by bit, they disappeared from the country. But then eventually, of course, they all got caught. The money, it got squandered, basically.
It sounds like a movie I watched too, recent, like not as old as that. The Italian Job, something like that.
Oh, yeah, the Italian Job, yeah. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. That was Michael Caine. That was
Yes,
Michael
Michael
Caine.
Caine. Those are just. I mean, yeah, that's just how it was.
And as for that Buster,
Okay.
Buster Edwards, his name was, he ended up being he had a flower stall. He come out of prison, opened up a flower stall somewhere near might have even been Waterloo train station. Yeah, he had a flower stall. He sell flowers. Yeah, being a great train robber to selling flowers. Yeah,
I mean, we all need a chance sometimes. The second chance. That's just how it happens.
that's right. Yeah, and I think
It's not every day.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, Nick.
No, I was just gonna say, it's not every day we get a second chance. I mean, who's not gonna jump for it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what happened in those like early '60s when this actually happened.
Okay.
I think what it was at the time, there was a big upheaval in the British government.
Okay.
With different things with involving spies. I won't go into the names and everything, but there was big things, spies, Russian spies, and things like that. And also, don't forget, they was robbing the Royal Mail.
Oh.
The Royal Mail.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy indeed.
Emphasis on the word royal.
Whoa.
So,
whoa.
I think they stole all this money. Right?
Okay.
They stole all this money, but they got the sentences they got for this crime, like 25, 30 years.
Whoa, that's
right. Now people
30 years inside prison changes a person. Even 6 months is enough to change a person inside prison.
Yeah. But they got these heavy sentences, these guys.
Okay.
For what they did, yeah. But nowadays people get far less for doing a lot worse.
And that is the crux of the matter. that is the issue at hand. When you think about our government, there's nothing more to say about it.
They talk about, people who rape.
That is
People get
correct.
less for committing rape. They even get less for some cases. They get less for committing murder.
That, like I said, justice changes, things. It's not like back then they were more stricter, because look, you cannot place like a value on a life,
Yeah, exactly.
because you might be in jail for 10 years, but that man is not living anymore.
Yeah. But these guys, and I remember it because I was very, very young at the time. How old was I? In about 3 or 4.
All
And
right.
I vaguely remember like different mothers, their friends and see the mothers and that.
Okay.
And they all said, he got caught, or, one of the robbers, he got caught. They found him in a hideaway or whatever. Oh, it's such a shame. And I had like quite a bit of public sympathy for them. But they got caught, but for the sentences they were being given,
Okay.
for stealing money.
Yeah, for stealing the money, of course.
No one was killed. Yes, the train driver got hit. And I remember they had a big thing. That was a charity set up to help the train driver. What he had a bruise and a cut on his head, from what I can remember. Big campaign. Yeah, raise money for the train driver. I believe his name was Jack. Driver Jack.
Yeah, I can picture a Jack behind a wheel.
Yeah. So now if you want to train and you see a driver, you say, "You all right, Jack?" Yeah. So now, we'll phrase it now. If we're ever talking about train drivers, we'll call them Jacks, right? Yeah, a new comeback. All train drivers are Jacks. Okay, Nick?
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, it is about that time of the day. We head on out of here. But don't worry, you can always catch us again next week. Same time, same place. My name is Nick.
And my name? Not Jack.
Not Jack. Definitely not Jack. You can catch me and Kevin again, like I said, the next week around same time, same place. My name is Kevin. My name is Nick. I'm sorry. My name is Nick. His name is Kevin. And we are out of here.
Yeah. Okay. See ya.
See you.